Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy a Wilds of Eldraine Commander deck? With it having been almost an entire month since Commander Masters Commander decks hit shelves, and an entire month still until the Doctor Who Commander decks hit shelves, it means it's the perfect time to introduce two new Commander Precon decks to the shelves. A flavorful and fun Blue-Black Fairies deck, and in a move that hasn't been seen since Commander Masters, a White-Green Enchantment Matters deck. But do these Commander Precons still have the same consistent quality that they've had over the years, or has an incredible increase in product production led to some diminishing returns? Can a player new to the format still buy one of these decks and just sit down to shuffle up and play with friends established in Commander? And what do these decks offer to those already up to their necks in Commander? All those questions and more, what's in store, so let's take a look. But first, with Wilds of Eldraine hitting shelves and Universes Beyond, Doctor Who after that, Lost Caverns of Ixalan and Jurassic World after that, Ravnica Remastered after that, you get the picture. You might start to wonder when you'll find time to eat in between playing all of that magic. Well, wonder no more. With meals ready to eat in just 2 minutes, Factor delivers both convenience and flavor. Factor offers chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. Factor has quickly become a staple around our office, and my staff appreciates having meals that are easy to prepare and taste good to boot. And these aren't your grandpa's microwavable meals either. Factor's gourmet chefs and dietitians work hand in hand to craft dishes that the master chef of Strixhaven would be proud of. Too tired after a long day to spend an hour or more cooking? Don't want to wait just as long for takeout to arrive? With Factor, you can sit down to a delicious entree after a brief 2 minutes in the microwave. You'll deal with none of the monotony of eating the same thing every day as you would with meal prepping either. With over 34 handcrafted dishes to choose from, Factor ensures you'll get all the variety your heart desires. And as Factor is owned by HelloFresh, that just means more options for you, so don't delay. Head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code TellarianCommunity50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video. A Wilds of Eldraine Commander deck contains the following: the usual cardboard assortment of a quote-unquote deck box, particularly flimsy this time, I might add, cardboard life wheel, paper player's guide, and collector booster sample pack. But the real item in question is the 100 card ready-to-play out-of-the-box Commander deck that includes 10 original Commander designs, a host of reprinted cards, a foil-etched display Commander, and 10 double-sided tokens. The collector booster sample pack really doesn't have much to do with collector boosters, and is in reality just 2 random foil cards. It's not bad, but the labeling on the box, which makes it appear that the box contains an actual collector booster pack, remains to be disingenuous at the least. I don't usually weigh these very highly, but if your RNG skills are good, you might happen to crack something spicy. What is a lot less spicy is that Virtue and Valor, the green-white enchantment deck, has a lot of overlap with Enduring Enchantments, the green-white and black enchantment deck from Commander Masters, as many of the cards that were in the Commander Masters Commander deck are also featured in this Wilds of Eldraine Commander deck. Sheesh, when I said I wanted more reprints, I didn't exactly mean like this. Hey, so sorry to those of you who shelled out $100 or so for your Enduring Enchantments Commander Precon just a few weeks ago, because a lot of those cards in that deck were reprinted in this Wilds of Eldraine deck. How many were reprinted, you ask? Virtue and Valor actually has 16 of the same cards as Enduring Enchantments had. I mean, I suppose it has 18 if you count the basic forest and basic plains, but let's of course be fair and not count them. In fact, even if we exclude the non-basic lands which the decks share, which, I don't know, maybe this would have been an opportunity to reprint a few different non-basic green-white lands, and then we were to be further genuine by not counting cards like Soul Ring, Command Tower, Arcane Signet, which go in every single Commander deck, Virtue and Valor still shares 8 cards that the previous Commander Masters deck had. In some ways, this is more an indictment on the Commander Masters Commander deck than this one, because the Commander Masters Commander deck had a premium pricing, and yet contains a lot of the same cards as this non-premium Commander deck. But just how much do these non-premium Commander decks cost? Well, since Wizards of the Coast no longer has a visible MSRP, we will instead look towards the listings on multiple game stores as well as online marketplaces, which price these decks at about $40 each, with Fey Dominion seeing markups anywhere between $43 to $49, and Virtue and Valor being the less popular of the two, priced at some sellers as low as $37. As always, do not pay markups, as these prices are likely to fall and fall hard several weeks from now when the next set of Commander decks comes out, and then of course fall further when the next set after that comes out. In fact, looking back at the last few sets of Commander decks, 4 out of 5 March of the Machine Commander precons are now selling for $30 or so, as are many other older Commander precons. I've actually compiled a collection of Commander precons that are selling in these price ranges on my landing page at cardkingdom.com/TCC, but you should always check your local game store first, as many have a lot of old product that they are often more than happy to clear out. Do not pay markups. But never mind that these decks will likely drop in price next month. Right now, I'm actually seeing a lot of stores and online sellers offering a pretty decent bundle deal of both for $70, which means that you're paying the good old-fashioned price of $35 a pop for these, and that clearly is a lot better than $40 to $45. But sticker prices and bargain buys aside, just what value do these decks deliver? If you were to purchase all the singles for these decks at the lowest possible price, as of the filming of this video, for Virtue and Valor you would pay about $81.95, and Fey Dominion about $85.87. As always, remember that I am going by pre-order pricing as of the filming of the video, and also that a lot of the cards in these decks are bulk. So what if we eliminated all the bulk? Let's look only at cards worth $1 and up. When doing so, Virtue and Valor goes down to $66.69 worth of cards, still very high above the asking price of this deck, and Fey Dominion is at $69 and change. Nice. Looking at the breakdown of those non-bulk cards, the highest value card in Virtue and Valor is Hall of Heliod's Generosity at $7 and change, followed by Mantle of the Ancients and the very respectable reprints of Umbra Mystic, Daybreak Coronet, and Bear Umbra. I know this is the less popular of the two decks, and I'll talk about gameplay in just a moment, but financially it's fairly tied with the Fey Dominion deck. Looking at that deck, we see the biggest card of note is Glen Elendra Archmage at $7.59, followed by, wow, a mythic reprint of Brazen Borrower. What is this, a challenger deck? That's a $7 reprint. There's a host of other goodies in here, from Scion of Una, Kindred Dominance, and even some of the dollar and change cards like Illusionist's Gambit are great for Commander. Sower of Temptation, that's only $1.70? I remember when that used to be a chase. Keep in mind that these prices are still locked in at pre-order levels. Commander decks can now be sold at local game stores during pre-release, which in my opinion is a good move. Great move, in fact. Good job, Wizards of the Coast, but in evaluating worth, it means we are probably dealing with prices that are more inflated than usual. Keep that in mind. But of course, Commander precons aren't just about financial value. How well do these decks play against one another or against a friend already established in the format? Let's talk gameplay. I had the most fun playing these decks without upgrades against one another in a pod of 2 other precons. They're very well balanced, though overall I felt they were missing some of the oomph factor that Commander precons in the past have had. And overall, that's been my worry with the shift to premium Commander precon products, such as the now recurring Secret Lair Commander decks, and things we saw just a few weeks ago with the Commander Masters precons. Those premium Commander decks are actually a lot more on par with what Commander precons have been in the past. The quality, the design, the power levels that we used to get in our $35 Commander precons has now been shifted to the premium section. As a result, these set Commander decks start to feel watered down. The enchantment deck is able to get a pretty good draw engine going, but then it plays very straightforward. You're just trying to get your Setessan Champion, Core Spirit Dancer, or Eidolon of Countless Battles beefed up and swinging in. I wasn't really impressed impressed with the commander of this deck, and am disappointed by the linear nature of its upgrade path. You're just building green-white enchantments again. Again, this is not a terrible product. I really liked jamming this fairy deck a lot, and while I enjoyed it more than the enchantments one, it's still well built. The deck actually has a really nice balance of creatures and interaction spells, many of which are stapled together because fairies. There was always something to do when piloting this deck, even if that something was just swinging in for a couple hits of damage. And just like in the green-white deck, there's a classic collection of reprints here, and I certainly had a blast getting to resolve spells like Una, Queen of the Fae, as well as her Scion. But comparing these Eldraine decks to, say, Commander Precons from just a few years ago, let alone going back to when we had one Commander Precon release per year, really makes these less like the Commander Precons of old and more like, well, do you kids remember event decks? You know, the two that came out with every set, and then after that, Planeswalker decks, the two that came out with every set. I'm starting to get that vibe here. Which again is by no means to say these are bad decks, I'm just noting that there is a downward trend in these non-premium, comes out with every set Commander Precons, and here these are average. That being said, the more interesting, more fun, and more powerful of the two is clearly Fae Dominion, which not only works great right out of the box, but has a fun and interesting decision tree of upgrade options. Virtue and Valor is the vanilla of the two decks. Maybe it's just the proximity to another Enchantment Matters deck in green and white colors just a few weeks ago, but in a world where both of these are priced the same, the one I'd grab first for players new and players experienced would be Blue-Black Fairies. And again, I still feel strongly that these Commander Precons are a great out-of-the-box product, but I'm also noticing that the days where I can encourage a player new to the format to pick up any of the 4 to 5 yearly Commander Precons that got released once per year is coming to an end. Used to be the case that I could say, sure, grab your Duretti Precon, or your Alluro, or your Edgar Markov if you like vampires, or the Dragon Precon if you're into dragons, or any one of those old Commander Precons, and yeah, sit down with your friends who already play Commander and shuffle up and play. Maybe you won't win, but that Atraxa Precon will put up a pretty good fight, and has a really great path to upgrading it into a next level deck. Or to say to those established players in Commander, those who love to play Commander and are deep in it, yeah, you too can literally buy any one of these decks I just mentioned as a great starting point for those new to Commander, and guess what? Those decks are jam-packed with cards you'll love to build around or add to your existing decks or just do fun new things with. I used to always be able to say that with confidence about Commander Precons, and I'm not really feeling that here. Final conclusion. There's nothing wrong with the Wilds of Eldraine Commander Precons, but there's nothing too spectacular here either. And I would describe both of these decks as painfully average, with the better, more interesting of the two being Fae Dominion. Financially speaking, there's decent value to be had, and while Virtue and Valor is selling for less at most stores, I see both decks as having very similar value financially speaking. These still remain a great product for brand new players to the format to pick up off the shelf, crack open, and shuffle up and play. But with prices at $40 and up, and there being a gazillion other Commander Precons from just this year, there's absolutely no reason not to save a few dollars and just grab an older Commander Precon at a discount. Grade here is a solid B, with the financial value and solid deck construction keeping this out of minus territory. Remember, do not pay markups. Fae Dominion is not worth more than $40. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out greatly just by watching another one of my videos. Did you catch the brand new episodes of Shuffle Up and Play, such as me checking out the awesome Commander variant Monarch in the Middle, or just sitting down to get some games with an out-of-the-box Precon Secret Lair? I very much hope you enjoy watching those, and I've linked them in this video's description. And do remember, whether you are buying Commander precons or just some packs of cards or singles that you need for the decks you want to play, that when it is possible, when it is reasonable, you spend that money where you spend time playing this great game. And that is at your local game store. You're supporting your Magic community. And hey, if you want delicious meals delivered right to your door with a wide variety of flavors and options, then you might want to check out Factor today. Don't delay, head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code TellarianCommunity50 to get 50% off, wow, your first Factor box. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
Today, 6 Legacy decks, 3 rounds, 2 players. It's the Legacy Gauntlet.
My name's Anurag, you can call me Anu.
I'm Brian Coble, aka Bosch and Roll.
A scrubland.
I am shocked.
Wow, only white border?
Look, I'm not made out of money.
I apologize, and that was just a joke. I apologize to all 6 people who play Legacy. I'm really sorry. We love it.
Apology accepted. 2 of us are here, right? Yeah.
Thought Monitor's on the stack.
You just played a 7-mana spell with 1 land.
It's true. It's turn 3.
Flash in Orcish Bowmasters, come on.
I guess that tells a lot about my hand.
I have 12 life to work with at the moment.
By my math, that's 6 Ancient Tomb activations.
Okay, the jokes are over.
His face got really serious when he said that too.
There we go.